Hi, Inez here, and welcome back to Core Growth Strategies, Positivity and Success Stories. Touring stylist, fashion designer, and an awareness for our environment, Emily Schneider found a way to create more sustainable fashion pieces and do her part to be more environmentally friendly. Coming off a vigorous tour with her #1 recording artist husband, Max, Emily joins me today to discuss how we can make the world a kinder place. Hi, Emily. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. It's good to talk to you again.
Yes, it's always wonderful. I mean, when we first met, right away, I just felt that positive energy from you and your husband and just had to get more of you.
Well, happy to be here.
And we have so much to talk about. You know, I know that you guys, you and your husband, who's Max, the singer, who sings Lights Down Low, #1 hit.
Slightly familiar.
Yeah, and I love the story behind it as well, which I'll let you share. However, also we want to talk about your business, Dusty Wink, which
you are wearing one of the original pieces.
I love it. I wore it all over Italy, and
I loved those photos.
People stop me all the time, and people who know me personally know that my favorite color is pink. So when they saw this jacket on me,
it was made just for you, just hanging right there for you.
It was custom made just for me, just waiting for me in New York City. Okay, so let's start with Dusty Wing. What is your inspiration behind this business?
Yeah, so I have a theatre background, and I grew up in a lot of costume shops, sewing and doing all that stuff, and so I already had the skills to do it. Mm-hmm. And I had been looking for a jacket that I couldn't find anywhere in stores. And so I found the fabric, and I found an old denim jacket of mine, and I put the two and two together. And like you said, I would get stopped all the time. People would ask, like, where did you get that? Mm-hmm. And so I just started making a couple of extra pieces, and it kind of turned into this whole business. And what I'm most proud about of my very small business is the fact that it's all done with secondhand garments. Mm-hmm. And so it's very earth friendly. You know, the fashion industry is the #1 leading cause of pollution and greenhouse gases, and fills up so many of the landfills with just scraps of fabric. You think about how quickly, like, Zara or H&M or whoever flips around their store. Yeah, their inventory flips every 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And you think, like, where do all those clothes go? They just sit in the landfill forever. They don't decompose. And so the fact that I'm bringing clothes out of that cycle and giving them new life where people may not be able to see it in a new way is really something that I'm most proud of.
And they're incredibly fashionable as well.
Thank you. I love fun, colorful, shiny things, as you know. And so just bringing a plain denim jacket into something, even with just like fluff on the wrists, it gives it a whole new life, and I love it.
I clearly love it. And so you've expanded. So you've actually only started your business last year of 2017, correct?
Yes, that's correct. I started it the year before, but I only did it for myself and close friends. Mm-hmm. And then last year, instead of doing an online store or a brick and mortar store, I just do a pop-up once a year, just to kind of build up that the excitement around it as well. Mm-hmm. And when I did the show last year, I had such a great response, and I didn't want to go another year without doing a show and keeping people interested. And so I have one of my greatest skills in life is finding really expensive things for really cheap. Oh. And so I started buying designer shoes that I would find on my travels with my husband. Mm-hmm. That, you know, I would find like a pair of Gucci heels for $50, and they wouldn't be in my size, but I would be like,
my gosh,
I need this here. Somebody needs this.
Yeah.
So I added another segment to my business, which is just reselling designer shoes.
That's
because
fantastic.
They get lost in the internet and deserve to be given life again.
Aww, it's so thoughtful. And I know there's many women that are very grateful for that.
Yes, a lot of people think that designer clothing, you know, only is very expensive and is only reserved for the top 1%, and that's just not true. No, I mean, they're all made in the same places. It's just a label that's added onto it. But sometimes that label makes you feel extra special.
Right, exactly. And that is so true. I'm kind of glad that you brought up the whole thing about labels, because a lot of individuals allow labels to define who they are. And listen, just like you, I love wearing high quality pieces and designers things. Yeah, they do make me feel good. But I think what's important is that we're good at who we are on the inside And
Exactly.
just that added, little piece of clothing makes it a little bit extra special.
Yeah, just like a shoe or a purse or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you see a lot, especially lately, I think Gucci has just exploded and people are spending entire paychecks on one thing and not being able to feed themselves or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be all or nothing.
No, absolutely. You have the best of both worlds.
Exactly.
So what challenges did you face when you first, because I know a lot of people have these great ideas, but they're afraid to take the action to do so. So
I was afraid for quite a while, and it was my husband Max who definitely inspired me to just go for it.
Mm-hmm.
I spent that first year kind of just toying around and just doing it for friends and not having the confidence that people would actually like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just figured, I have all these jackets, so I might as well throw a party, and if people buy them, they buy them, and if they don't, I got to throw a party. So that was my way of thinking about it, and not like, oh, if this doesn't work out, then I'm a failure.
Right.
And just trying to find that, I'm just doing this for fun, and if it works, that's great.
And then when you do it, you learn what people do like, because you get to see them face to face.
Exactly. And I was really surprised at how people responded to the collection, and I almost sold out of all of them, and it was a really beautiful experience.
Well, I know you've been really busy on the road with your husband. Have you had time to set up another date?
I'm aiming for a 1-year anniversary next year.
Okay.
So next June in New York City. I'm just going to spend the time between now and then just working on the pieces and just really focusing and narrowing it down into a very specific look and collection, and just making the party itself, other than the clothes, this wonderful experience that people want to show up to.
And I think that's what's so important too, is just giving the people the whole experience.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's this whole interest in these museums where you can go into rooms and take pictures lately. Yeah. I'm not sure if you've noticed them. It started with the Refinery 29 rooms and kind of has just spread to, the Museum of Ice Cream or the Museum of Color, whatever it is. And it's just these rooms where people want to take pictures. And so I want to give that experience to the Dusty Wink followers, or whatever you want to call that. They're not just shopping, that they're having this whole experience and can take pictures and take something away from it, not just being in a store.
And it also gives you the opportunity to develop a connection with your followers, with your clients.
Exactly. Oh, it's just wonderful just getting to chat like you and I are right now with all the people at the party last year. And just meeting new people.
And I think that's so important today, because we're so heavily reliant on technology, and technology is great. I mean, it's giving me the opportunity to do this right now, to speak to people all over the world, to meet people all over the world, which is amazing. But that human connection face to face is so important as well.
Exactly. Taking something that you see on Instagram into real life is a neat experience.
And I see that, for those of you who don't know, your husband, Max, is a #1 Billboard artist. And cool. you've been on this whirlwind tour with him, and seeing him, what he posts online on social media, he's got an abundance of positive energy. Yeah,
he's the best. We keep each other grounded and balance each other out. We're the exact opposite human beings.
Oh,
and so
you?
when it's crazy. When he's freaking out about something, I'm like, that's not a big deal. What's wrong with you? And vice versa. When I'm freaking out about something, he kind of calms me down. And so, especially when we're on the road, it's a crazy time, as you can imagine, and just getting to experience it together and just keeping each other's head above water and everything's fine.
Yes.
It's a real blessing.
It's very easy in his industry, to get like an inflated ego, which I personally have met him a couple occasions. I got to interview him myself for the magazine I write for, which was very exciting. And yet he does stay very grounded. I mean, how do you maintain that together as a couple?
I don't know. I can't imagine not like living this way. I can't imagine. It's just natural. I don't know. I don't want to seem like I'm tooting my own horn, but
no,
I
mean,
understand why people can get lost in that world. But when we come home from tour, the first thing we want to do is to call our best friends from childhood, all come over to our house the day that we land, and that's what we look forward to. We still spend so much time with Max's parents and my family. And that's what's important to us when we come home, not continuing like who can I be seen with today. It's just a gross lifestyle that we don't live by.
And that's what's so fantastic about the two of you, because you are exposed to so many people, yet that's not your focus. Your focus is just being you.
Yeah, we just want to be home and be normal and be with our dog and eat from our own kitchen.
And Dusty Wink is from your dog, then, I assume.
Yes, so Dusty is my family dog growing up. He's 15 years old now. Okay. He's got no teeth. And then Wink is Max and my one-eyed Yorkie. He's so cute. But because they're both rescue dogs, and it's been something that's been important to me my whole life, and Dusty Wink being a very earth-friendly business, it only made sense to me to kind of bring those two things together. And we do a lot of work with shelters with Max's project as well. And so just bringing Max's project, my project, and our life passions all into play with each other is really fun. I
definitely see the two of you really giving back. Use your platform to give back to society.
We try, and we do what we can. You know, we're not millionaires, but we do what we can.
Yeah, but you don't have to be. I mean, just spreading a kind word means so much. And I see that a lot, even on social media. If I respond to somebody who, I don't know, but if they take the time and effort to like write a comment, for instance, and I respond back, many times they're so happy just to, get that
interaction. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's really good at that, and he's inspired me a lot to just be kinder to people, everyone, not just the people that you can get something from.
So, all right, tell us about Lights Down Low and the proposal, the background of that.
Oh God, it's about 3 years ago now. Max and I started dating in the July of whatever 3 years ago was, 2015, and he wrote the song about a month after we had started dating.
Yeah.
And in the December, I asked him if he would want to marry me.
You did?
Yeah, completely out of the blue. And of course, being a guy, he didn't want to have his big proposal moment taken away from him in his life. So a couple of months later, he had organized to have a harp player show up at the place we had our first date in Chicago. And he sang the song for the first time with the harp player in this space as a surprise. And it was just so beautiful. And I can't believe that it's still going. I mean, we stopped working this song about a year ago, and it's still on the Billboard Hot 100, and it's just been this crazy experience.
It's such a beautiful song. That's why.
Yeah, it's straight from the heart. And he always said when we first started promoting it that he had finally written a song just for a special occasion, and not to try and make it something. Yeah. And of course, that's what people have connected to the most, is the story and the passion that he sings with when he sings the song. It still makes me tear up every time I hear it, and I've heard it thousands.
And were you on stage recently at one of his shows?
Yeah, he pulled me up at his New York Irving Plaza show. It was a very big milestone for him. It was his biggest sold out show ever, and it sold out weeks before the date, and it was the last date of tour as well, and it has been a very trying year for us. And we made it through this tour, and he brought me up on stage in the middle of Lights Down Low just so we could have that experience together.
Oh, that's so sweet.
It was sweet.
So you're originally from England?
Yeah, I'm from Brighton, England. I've grown up all over the Western Hemisphere. The longest I've ever lived was in Chicago, so I consider myself a Chicago girl.
Okay. Oh, and that's where you met your husband?
Yeah, I lived there for 7 years, but I've been in the States for 14 years now, so almost exactly half my life. So I feel fake saying that I'm English still, even though I'm not a citizen yet of America. 2 more years, and I can.
2 more years.
Yeah.
So it is a long process then. I know friends who are going through it.
It is. People have no idea. It drives me crazy when people start talking about the immigration system not being tough enough and how we need to. I mean, come on. I'm from England. I came here legally to begin with. My family is a young person. I had to get married to get my green card. I went to college here. I went to high school here. I've lived my whole grown life here. And still, I still have 2 more years and 2 more tests that I have to take to prove that I am eligible and worthy to become a citizen here. I never voted. I didn't have a social security number until I was 21. I had never been able to get a proper job before then. Even with scholarships for college and stuff, because I had lived in America long enough, I couldn't get foreign international student what are they called, scholarships. Okay. But because I wasn't American, I couldn't apply for FAFSA or American scholarships either. So I was in this really weird place where it makes it very difficult to do a lot of like very normal things that you take for granted. Yes. And I think that's important for people to hear, because, you know, without getting political, it's just that I think so much of the human aspect is taken out of the whole immigration, you know, chaos that's happening. It's chaos. Yes. You know, these are people. And I understand that there's laws and there's, you know, a proper way of doing things, but we cannot forget that they're humans. All of us are humans. Exactly. And I mean, English is my only language. And even when I was trying to apply for my green card myself, there's no comprehensive like drop down menu of, okay, I'm moving from this country and I'm getting married, so therefore I'm applying through this channel. What paperwork do I need to fill out to be able to apply for this? There's no place where it tells you that. And so you have to hire a lawyer. The filing fees themselves are about $2,000. That the first green card only lasts for 2 years, and then you have to refile. The lawyer fees are about $10,000. And then when you go for your interview, you sit in a room for 6 hours. You're not allowed to eat. You're not allowed to drink. You're not allowed to talk. You're not allowed to be on your phone. You just wait. And then one random person will ask you about 2 questions about your life, and then decide your whole future based on those 3.5 minutes that they've spent with you. It's just so insane. It drives me crazy. I could talk about it for days. Yeah, nobody, I mean, clearly, I know a little bit. I'm familiar with a little bit of it because of the fact that I have friends going through it. But like you said, you know, it's such a long process, and it's mentally draining. And so expensive too. People don't have that kind of money to just who has that money just laying around? Well, and that's not even like $15,000 and you're guaranteed X, Y, and Z. That's $15,000, and if you missed one letter on your form, you have to start over again and repay everything. And with technology today, why isn't this, you know, like for instance, for people who are legally going through the process, why isn't it easier for them to get that? You can't do it digitally. You can't check up on things digitally. Oh, you can't. You can type in your number and it'll tell you pending, approved, or declined, but it won't tell you, you know, how far away you are from getting an answer or just any actual information. I have a friend who went through this whole thing, and after her work visa expired, been in this, you know, same thing like you, her adult life. She's not married, but, you know, her adult life has been here for 7 years, got educated in our country, but never received a yes or a no. Spent, like you said, thousands of dollars on a lawyer, never received a yes or no to extend her work visa, and she had to leave. Yeah, you have to leave, because if you stay, then you'll be kicked out and banned forever. So on the flip side, for everybody who is in this country, be grateful. Exactly. Just the small things. Yeah. And even like voting. I would kill to have the right to vote. Yeah. It is what it is. And I'm just happy to be here. And it goes back to gratitude, because so many of us, and I teach this when I teach emotional intelligence, it's really important to have gratitude in your life and start each day with gratitude, because there's always somebody who wishes they had your life. Exactly. Very, very grateful, especially after this challenging year for us. Instead of feeling downtrodden and beaten up by it, I feel empowered and happy for the future. You know, based on your experiences in life, and you've had some, you know, and you're still continuously going through these challenges in life. What can you suggest to people who are going through something similar on how to like not fall back into that negative mindset and feel down on themselves and have the courage to keep moving forward? Yeah, I'd say what's helped me in the past is at first not denying yourself the feeling of sadness or anger or whatever it is that you're feeling. Yeah. Feel it fully, be sad, scream, throw things, whatever it is, get it out, and then wake up the next day, and before you even move, I always thank my body for carrying my soul around, for Max's body for carrying his soul around, so that our souls can continue in this lifetime together. Yeah. And that's it. That's really all I think about. And it kind of just, instead of thinking like, oh, why do I have to do this today? I think, okay, my soul is here in this body that's healthy. My arms move, my legs move, my mind is healthy. And that's all that you can even ask for. Nothing is guaranteed.
No, nothing is. And I attribute that type of mindfulness to successful people. I've seen, since I started this project, I've met so many incredible people who have that positive mindset. And just this past week, the video that I posted, is a man who is he's paralyzed, a waist down, yet he has no complaints. He smiles, he's happy, he's positive. He's like, thank God my arms can move. So it's like, you can't help but to feel good when you're around that type of energy.
Yeah. Just got to be thankful for the basics. And like this gentleman that you interviewed, his legs don't work, but his arms do. Win. Yeah, but truly just allowing yourself to feel is, I think, the beginning of any healthy step towards being happy.
Yes, because it's important. A lot of people think it's, like, oh, I'm just going to suppress that anger, suppress those emotions. It's not going to make it go away.
It just like lashes out in really strange ways that you're like, why did I just do that?
Yeah. So that's great advice, acknowledging your feelings and how you feel. And you're right, let it out. You'll feel better.
Don't hold it back.